Okay, here we are on part 2. So I'm so excited to bring you this video because we're going to talk about what do you look like, right? Now remember, we're most likely looking at what your rising sign is because your rising sign shows us your physicality. It shows us your face shape. It shows us your energy out there in the world. Your sun sign is your soul. So you are going to be a blend of both your sun sign and your rising sign, but you might actually take on the appearance of your rising sign a little bit more than your sun sign. Your sun sign is the essence of your soul, and it is the essence of you. It is your self-expression. But your rising sign is actually literally what your face looks like. So in order to really master this video, you have to know your rising sign. So if you don't already have my gorgeous natal chart, I hope you'll go to Soul Navigation and get it so you can know your rising sign. And I want you to also really look at your chart because if you're a Leo sun and you're a Pisces moon, Scorpio rising with 5 planets in Scorpio, you really need to listen to this video around Scorpio because you have so much energy in Scorpio. And if you have a lot of planets in a certain sun sign, it could really change the way you look. So you have to really look at your whole chart and not just listen for your sun sign, but listen for your sun sign, listen for your rising sign, listen for your moon sign. I look a lot like my moon sign too. And also if you have a stellium in a house, know which house that is, and then listen to these videos around that particular house's sign. Okay, we're going to have so much fun and let's dive in. Okay, Libras. Oftentimes Libras are quite gorgeous and they have a great balance and sense of proportion to their features. And I will also say though that they don't usually have prominent jaws or chins, but oftentimes they do have dimples or the cleft in their chin or a beauty mark, just like Taurus is. Now, they have a little bit less of the doe eye and a little bit more of an open eye that is like an almond shape. There's a good balance. I'll tell you that Libras, especially Libra women, oftentimes have these long lashes that are just gorgeous. Just beautiful, beautiful features, beautiful hair. They have a sense of refinement, a sense of class, a sense of manners, a sense of grace, a sense of taste. They look completely balanced. I'll tell you that they usually have quite a sense of fashion, but not overly done. You know, they're Venus ruled, so they do usually wear nice fabrics, nice colors, things that complement. There's a real balance here. I want to say that Libras oftentimes have an absolutely gorgeous voice. Libra rising, Libra moon, Libras, or Libras in the 3rd house usually have an interesting to listen to voice. If you're just with somebody or you're noticing somebody who is just flat out likable, it could be a Libra because Libra comes with the goal to be liked. So does Leo, but Leo will do it in a more intimidating way, where Libra takes the intimidation out, or at least they try to. Libras usually are slender. They're usually graceful. They usually have an elegant neckline. They can have skin irritations or difficulty with their skin, especially when they're under stress. They oftentimes come with impeccable social skills and impeccable manners. So if you have somebody who is just doing everything right and is the hostess with the mostest and is just like concierge service, but they're your friend, this is probably Libra or Libra rising. Somebody who is just the quintessential host. My daughter and my husband are both Libra rising. And my favorite thing is when we're having a dinner party and I have slaved away for the whole day doing the gourmet cooking and I'm exhausted, I can go into the back bedroom and they can like host the whole front end of the party. They are just fantastic. They can carry conversations. They connect with others. They're usually immaculate dressers. They care about their style. They want a little pizzazz, a little edge, but not too much. They usually have oval faces. Oftentimes they do suffer from dark circles under their eyes. I don't know why that is, but they are refined. And so if you see somebody who has an elegance and a grace, more so than Taurus, Taurus is going to have a beauty about them, but they're going to be, Taurus is also ruled by Venus, but Libra has this uncanny ability to understand itself within the social context, the social dynamics, and the space around them. And they fit in perfectly. You will very rarely see a Libra rising trip or stumble or fall over a chair that they didn't see. They are so highly aware of who they are in this situation that they have the perspective from themselves and from what every other person is seeing in them. It isn't true, but they kind of are perceived as flawless. Look at Kim Kardashian. Not that I like her, not that I care, but she kind of has a perfect persona, right? Like you see her in her flawlessness. I don't. I mean, I'm saying I see her flaws and the superficialities, but I'm just saying you can see the stereotype in her of Libra in her operating. Libra risings and Libras and strong Libra placements, strong seventh house placements are almost always quintessentially beautiful. Whatever your culture says is beautiful, they will be that. They strive for that. If aviators are the cool glasses to wear, they're wearing aviators. If Vans are the cool shoes to wear, they're wearing Vans. If leather pants and red boots are in, they're wearing leather pants and red boots. So they are the quintessential, fashionista, if you will, of their social culture group, tribe, whatever you want to call it. And they are the people pleaser. And so they are the person there just trying to make everybody happy and comfortable. I will tell you, some Libra men do a fantastic job at androgyny. This sign can really look androgynous, and they can pull it off really, really well. Just like really, really well. This is the sign where women can look a little bit more like men or wear a man's suit and rock it, and a man could wear a skirt and just totally pull it off. And so that's kind of cool. And it's different than Aquarius because they'll do it with sort of a class and a pizzazz, not with, and like just fantastic style. They'll do it Gucci. They won't do it shock. Right? But it might be shocking, but the intention is Gucci. The intention is not shock value like an Aquarius would do it. Okay, let's talk about the physicality of Scorpio. Hands down, Scorpio is by far the easiest sign for me to recognize. I mean, it is so obvious. They might as well have a tattoo of Scorpio across their forehead. They're intense. They don't really smile, and they don't feel obligated to smile even if you smile at them. If you say, hello, hi, they don't feel obligated to say, hello, hi, back to you. Mm-mm. There is a poker face. There is sort of an intimidation. A lot of them, just like Leo doesn't know they're coming across cocky or vain or stuck up, some Scorpios literally don't even know they are intimidating. So if you meet somebody who just does not look friendly, who has a poker face, who has an intensity about them, just so intense. And by the way, they don't even know they're intense. A lot of them don't even know. They just know they've been called that, but they don't know they are that. If they've got oftentimes a mole, a scar, I'm going to tell you something kind of crazy. It's sort of how Robert De Niro or Al Pacino, Jack Nicholson, is sexy. Oftentimes, Scorpio has a harshness to them, or a scar, or acne, or bad skin, or a face that is not classically attractive like Libra. There's a hardness, there's a weathered look, there's a bad boy, it looks like they just fought a war, and they came back, and it's sexy as hell. So it's really weird how this happens, but Scorpio oftentimes has this unbelievable magnetism, and it's energetic, but it is not always because they have the most beautiful physical features. Don't be mad at me, Scorpio. I'm just telling you the truth. And there's something about it that is just viscerally attractive. Their features are usually so strong, like their nose is just so Roman. It's just like Greek or Roman. It's just like the nose that Michelangelo would make in one of his sculptures. The cheekbones are chiseled. The lips can be full. The eyebrow can even be a unibrow or just thick, bushy eyebrows, thick hair. Like the features are just so prominent and loud on the face. They're usually thick necks, thick bodies, they're Mars. And they have a power inside of them that says, don't F with me. Their mood is hard to read. Their face is stoic. Their expression is stoic or poker face or deadpan or just no expression. They're unapologetic. They do not apologize for the space they take up, for being in your way. They are unapologetic. Their head is usually square. Their body is usually thick. They own their ground, stand their ground. They are physically strong, or they at least look like it. They're not the person that you pick in the crowd to take on, usually. And they oftentimes have ruddy red skin or blemishes. This is not Cancer. This is not usually the flawless face. Now, if they do have a flawless face, maybe they have a lot of Libra in their chart. They have thick bones, and they oftentimes are muscular, thick thighs, thick arms. I mean, I've seen petite Scorpios too, for sure. My sister-in-law is Scorpio. She's very petite, but her features are very strong. I would say that. And she is magnetically beautiful, but she has a lot of Libra in her chart. So you have to look at the other signs. I do want to say that the Scorpios usually have a lot of thick hair. They're hypnotic. They're mesmerizing. You don't even know why. You're like, I don't want to be mesmerized at all by you. And so why are you doing that to me? Please do not be magnetic. Why are you being so gosh darn magnetic with me? That's the last thing I want to invite into my life, only to be completely taken over. I think the number one thing that gives a Scorpio away is the way they look at you. And it is an intensity that is frightening at best and terrorizing at worst. And it's a good kind of frightening, but they can look so deeply into your eye sockets that they burn them out and they go down into your soul. And it's like they have X-ray vision, and they all do it, every single one of them. And that's the dead giveaway for Scorpio. And I can like figure out Scorpio in a nanosecond. I've got my Scorpio radar on. So it's the penetrating, I see into your soul. I know what color your underwear is. I mean, they can see through your clothes. Yeah. The last thing I'll say about Scorpio is they exude a strength. They exude a power, and they like it that way. Okay, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is usually exuding happiness. These are the people that do actually bumble and trip over the chair that's right smack in front of them because they were looking at the person, not the chair. And they're not great with spatial relationships. They walk into doorways, they walk into walls. And so if you see somebody who's just like a little bit too large for the space that they're in, and it doesn't even matter if it's a stage, Madison Square Garden, or if it's your living room or a restaurant, these people are a little bit too loud, a little bit too big for the space in which they feel they are trying to be contained inside of. So you could take them to the football game at the stadium, right? Whoever your team is. And it's not big enough. Why is this place so damn small? It only fits 67,000 people. God, this place is tiny. And why'd they give me this tiny little chair to sit in on this airplane? Don't they know? Don't they know you can't pack this big old person? And you might be tiny, but your energy is so big, it leaks out everywhere. And so how can you tell a Sagittarius they are joyful, they are too big, too loud, and a little too much for wherever they're at? They probably can hold it in a little bit, especially if they have a lot of Scorpio or Libra on either side of them, but they will pop out. And you will figure it out. They oftentimes say the unabashed truth that is like, did you actually say that? So if somebody sort of shocks you with this wrong thing that nobody should say, they're probably on their way to being a Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising. And they oftentimes talk too much and don't listen enough, and they interrupt. So if you're meeting or working with, or if you've gone on a date with somebody who is a chronic interrupter, that is either a Gemini or a Sag. We have them narrowed down to two things. But it's probably a Sag if they are more philosophical, or if they're asking questions that are not so much about the details and more about the philosophical truth of the thing that you're talking about. I'll tell you, Sagittarius come in two types. There's the jolly old St. Nicholas, and then there's the long and lean thoroughbred horse. Both of them, though, probably have really good thighs. They are probably rocking the Tina Turner legs. And is Tina Turner a Sagittarius? Let's look. Yes, she is, people. November 26th. She is a quintessential Sagittarius, those legs. So if you didn't get the Tina Turner legs and you're a Sagittarius, you need to ask for a refund. Yeah, on your Sagittarius. So oftentimes Sagittariuses have a horse-like look. And just like I was talking about the bovine look for Tauruses, I mean it in the most glamorous and glorious ways. So like horses are gorgeous, if you haven't noticed. So there's a horse-like look to a Sagittarius. There's this athletic, large, lean way about them. Now, some Sagittariuses, see, Jupiter rules expansion. And so sometimes Sagittarius can expand and they can get really big and jovial, and they are the jolly old St. Nicholas. So there's two types. There's the long and lean, and then there's the rounder, jolly old St. Nicholas with the bulbous nose and the round eyes and the round face, and a lot like Cancer, but they're super loud and outgoing, and they don't have a reflective nature about them. They have an outputting. So they're like Aries and they're like Leo. They put their energy outward. However, Jupiter is the sign of Zeus. And so there is a little bit of a regal quality to Sagittarius. Now, it oftentimes is a regal quality that comes with a sense of humor and doesn't take itself so seriously. Some Sages do, but a lot of Sagittariuses have mastered the art of being funny and being joyful and being super happy and dying laughing. And so the regal quality comes in more like a benefic queen or king, or a funny or a king or queen with a sense of humor. So there is a regal quality, but oftentimes it's wrapped up with a funny wrapping paper. Now, not always. Oh man, I have known arrogant Sagittariuses that just are a bear to deal with. Just like, are you serious? Like the self-entitlement, self-aggrandizement, ego, the massive ego. Oh, the bombastic minion, get me another, I don't know, champagne. Just like disgusting. So I've met those too. There is a self-entitlement with Sagittarius when Sagittarius is unhealthy. They are the traveler. They're the storyteller. They've got everybody listening to their grand adventures. But I'll tell you that they have, just physically, they have almond-shaped eyes. They have a long face. They have super long limbs. They have long legs. They have usually long feet, long necks, and oftentimes long hair. That's why they look kind of like a horse. They have optimism in their eyes. They are the opposite of Scorpio and Cancer. So even though they're the opposite of Gemini, but Gemini has optimism in their eyes too. So they have wide-eyed expressions. They have largeness, large reactions. So their reactions are really over the top, although they don't know they are. The Sagittarius does not know that the way they talk and the way they animate and the way they gesture is exaggerated. They think it's normal. They have no idea when they smack the person in the face because they're making a point. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't see you there. Oh my God, it's terrible. Sagittarius, I'm sure. You have to tell me about it, Sagittarius. Is it fun or is it terrible? Yeah, it's terrible fun. They usually have a big smile, a big laugh. They are too loud. And as I said, they have Tina Turner legs. They usually have long legs. Okay, the one thing I want to say is Sagittariuses run hot, and they kind of can be red-faced and warm hands and a warm body, and they generate their own heat. They are fire signs, and they can create their own inflammation. I'll tell you that the body part that you're going to notice on them is their hips and their legs. And so the way they hold their legs, the way they hold their hips, and how they move at the hips, you're going to notice. Sagittarius has all their energy in their hips, in their booty and their hips. They work it. They usually know how to have an elegant gait or a long stride. What's interesting about them, though, is they can be so confident walking in with their long stride and completely trip and do a faceplant. They'll get up, they'll have fun, they'll laugh at themselves. But I would say they're majestic and cheerful and funny. Sagittariuses usually have large hands. They usually have large ears. They usually have long earlobes. They usually have prominent chins, and they have strong features, but they're usually like elongated. Now, they can be the short, robust type too, which everything then is just round. But one thing about their voice is it usually has a little bit of a boom to it. And it usually can talk over other people and be very loud and project super loud. Sagittariuses are built for the stage. They're built for Broadway, not necessarily film. And so it's difficult for them to tone it down and bring it in. They're usually long and lanky, pretty muscular, great athletes because, well, your glutes and your booty is the strongest muscle in your body. And it's usually, that's where they keep their energy. And they usually like having longer hair, like a horse's mane. More Sagittariuses are long and lanky, and fewer Sagittariuses are the rounder version of Jupiter, but it does exist. Okay, let's keep going. Capricorns. Capricorns are very interesting, and I get them confused sometimes with Scorpio. They do look a little bit like Scorpio sometimes. I want to say one thing about Scorpio and that I didn't say, and that is oftentimes they have a little bit of a dangerous edge to them. And Capricorns don't have that. Capricorns dress very quintessentially classic, kind of like a Virgo. Scorpio will wear the leather jacket and the neck tattoo and, I don't know, the cufflink spiked bracelet. And they'll wear something that looks a little bit dangerous. And Capricorn won't do that. Capricorn is much more conservative. But if you have a Scorpio that isn't into that edgy, hard look, they can come across like a Capricorn. So these two signs can get mixed up. And I think it's because of the poker face. So I know my Capricorns don't love this about me, but they do kind of have like a Scorpio and RBF face. So it's very poker face and there's a stoicism. They have usually a very high square forehead. Oftentimes they have an intensity in their eyes. They can oftentimes have darker eyes. They're very cool. They're serious. They are persevering. They mean business. They ask questions that matter to them. They have conversations that are not superficial. They are extremely patient listeners, like extraordinarily patient listeners. And they land on the serious side. So you don't see a whole lot of playfulness. They want to have a sense of propriety and be right. Oftentimes, I will tell you this, that Capricorns can have frown lines or they can have deep lines on their forehead because there's an intensity to them. They're very puckered and they have a piercing look about them because they're very studious and serious. And so that gives them their lines. There can be a little bit of a person who is deep in thought. So when they listen to you, they are deeply listening. They walk and talk slowly and calmly with great reserve. Kindness, but coolness, a kind coolness. There is a method to their madness. They are in routine. Don't mess up their routine. And they are very erect and they usually have great posture. They oftentimes have a long face and there is an austere quality to them. A lot of Capricorns are kind of on the bony side, or you can see their bones. You can see the sharp bone structure here, which can be just gorgeous. Oftentimes I see Capricorns with very thin lips. I think their face is long and narrow and usually on the smaller side, but they have usually incredible cheekbones, very chiseled cheekbones. I wish I had those like that. Yeah, I don't have those, but they usually have phenomenal cheekbones. And I'll also tell you that they might have frown lines. Maybe they fill them in with Botox, but they oftentimes have skin that's pulled really tight over the nose like that. They don't have jowls. They just have a skin that's very tight, but they can have the frown lines and the intense lines there. Capricorn has to invest in their teeth. They have to really work with their gums and their teeth and oftentimes their bone structure. So, they can break bones. They need to put the investment into to their teeth and their smile usually, because there is some sort of fragility with that. They're long and lanky and oftentimes can be very skinny, but they can also have a very pointed jaw and a narrow jaw like that with these cheekbones. A lot of Capricorn men like wearing a goatee. I'll tell you that a Capricorn is probably not going to look relaxed at the party or across the room. They're going to look a little bit more rigid or stiff or proper, sitting upright, listening, erect. They're just not real lazy. They're just not like kicked back, whatever, usually. Unless they have a lot of Sagittarius in their chart or Pisces. They are disciplined within themselves. But I'll tell you that not a lot of Capricorns want to work out. Most Capricorns just want to work. But they are very hardworking. So they don't usually like to just go and totally work out. Now they are an earth sign, but they would probably rather do their workout by doing a hike or paddle boarding or yoga or kayaking or some sort of out in nature. They can look more serious than fun. And so people misunderstand them as being unfriendly. And it's not true. It's that they are taking you seriously. They're taking the situation seriously. They are really in it to understand the ramifications, the details, the goal. They approach life with a little bit more of a serious nature. Unless they have a lot of Sagittarius in their chart, they're in it to win, to accomplish. They are going to be dressed probably elegantly, probably for power, and probably a little bit more on the conservative side, and probably very refined, and they're going to have very classic taste. I usually really love whatever Capricorn's wearing. They keep it very simple and very polished. Capricorns can be very beautiful naturally. They don't usually wear a lot of makeup. They're not overdone. There's not a lot of glitz. There's not a lot of any of that. They're probably not going to wear a fake anything. And they really look polished, refined, and like they have it all going on and they've got it all together. Now, whether that's true or not, we'd have to find out. But somebody who just shows up like perfection, we've got it narrowed down to, are you a Capricorn or a Virgo? Those would be hard to figure out. I'll just tell you, Capricorn rising or Virgo rising, hard to figure out. You have to realize one has Mercury as the ruler, the other has Saturn as the ruler. So one's a little bit more serious, Capricorn, than the other. Both are very, very similar. Okay, Aquarians are very, very unique. And so the first thing that I want to say is if you're looking at somebody who is just completely different, very unique, not a cookie cutter, anything out of the box, they're either going to be an Aquarius or a Pisces. If they are a little bit more standoffish, if you will, not so mushy, not revealing their emotions, basically that's what I really should say, because Aquarians are not really standoffish. There's just a cool reserve to them. Aquarians have this natural tendency to be able to get you to tell them all their feelings where they reveal nothing. That's what all the air signs do. So that's how you figure out if you're working with purple-haired Aquarius or Pisces. Like, which one are we working here with? The Aquarius will make you feel fantastic and like they're your best friend because they're so interested in what you do and who you are. But you'll realize that you'll walk away from the evening and be like, I don't even know who they were. Like they didn't reveal anything about themselves. And they want to. They just never get asked because they know how to extend themselves to you. That's the biggest clue about Aquariuses when you meet them. But I just want to tell you that Aquariuses have an electric look and an electric personality. They are going to wear something that is magnetically like, oh, I wish I had the guts to wear that. Oh, I wish I had worn that. I wish I had thought of that. I wish I thought to put a flower in my hat, whatever. They oftentimes are large boned. They have the friendliest smile probably of the whole zodiac. I mean, Sagittarius gives them a run for their money. They do have an austerity and they are a little bit like they run cool rather than warm. They kind of are a cool cat. And so what would a friendly cat be like with you, right? You could put your arms around it and snuggle it probably for a second and then they're off. So there is that quality where they flit and they don't stick. They are going to have some unique little oddity about their dress. So it's either going to be their socks, their boots, their shoes, their accessories. Something is going to be just a little bit daring, a little bit bold, a little bit outside of the box, usually. They usually have broad shoulders that are kind of square. They usually have larger heads. They have angular features, which are oftentimes quite gorgeous. So they can look quite chiseled, not always, but often. They have a bounce in their step and they have a lot of activity and movement about them. I'll tell you that their hair is not usually perfectly in place. They usually have hair that moves, that you can touch, that is wild and unruly a little bit. They're usually square in their face shape, in their shoulder shape, in their body. They can be kind of boxy. There is a witty nervousness to them. So they are funny, they are witty, and they are a little bit nervous. They've got a lot of energy inside of them. They're very vivacious, they're innovative, they're creative, they're electric, they are original, they are unique, they are going to be the different one. I will also tell you, these are the people that are going to make friends with the dishwasher in the back or the cook. These are the people that are going to see the people that are not seen, just like Pisces. There's two different kinds of Aquarians and kind of three. And because it depends on what decan they are in. So there's a Mercurial Aquarius, and then there is a Venetian Aquarius, and then there is a Sagittarian Aquarius, and then there's a Uranian Aquarius. So Aquarius is like, whoa, right? And so it would take a lot to go into all the different types of Aquarius that they are, and they all look different. So I kind of want to say it this way, just to take a shortcut here. There's a Gemini Aquarius, there's a Libra Aquarius, there's a Capricorn Aquarius, and then there is Uranus Aquarius. I kind of want you to go back and if you're an Aquarius, listen to Gemini and see if you're a Gemini Aquarius. And that's if you're born between Aquarius 0 to 10 degrees. And then if you are a Libra Aquarius, you're born between the 10th degree and the 20th degree. And then if you're a Saturnian Aquarian or a Uranian Aquarian, you're born in the last degrees. So 20 to 30. If you're a Uranian Aquarian, you are really different and you are really unique. You're, which one is not like the others? This one. If you're a Saturnian Aquarian, you have a little bit more of a sternness and you're a little bit more intimidating than all the other types, but there is a warmth about you and there is an invitation in you, but you have an austerity about you. And if you're a Libra Aquarian, you are the friendliest of all Aquarians. Like, people fall in love with you and you get along really easily. And if you're a Gemini Aquarius, you also are super friendly and very talkative and kind, but the rapport is less back and forth table tennis, and it's a little bit more of you putting your energy onto the other person because you're a communication expert, and so you really like to talk. The Libra Aquarian listens and talks a little bit more. Not trying to be mean to anybody. I'm just trying to differentiate. Gemini Aquarian is so smart that there could be a little bit of an irritation that I actually have to listen to all these people when I already kind of know everything. And not that they think they know everything, but they're like, been there, done that. I'm kind of bored. There's a boredom because they're already on to the next thing before you even finish. Like, they're already done with this video. They're like, move on, lady. We got it. I'll tell you that the Mercury Aquarian is thin, is agile, is nimble in its mind and in its essence, in its spontaneity, and in its uniqueness of life, and it's brilliant. The Libra Aquarian has these refined manners and this ability to fit in socially, like the other Aquarians just really struggle with. So their eccentricities don't alienate them as much as the other Aquarians. The Saturnian Aquarius really wants to understand the expectations, is a very hard worker, has a tremendous amount of ambition, but will not be bossed, ruled, or owned by anybody. And then the Uranian Aquarian is just wildly out there and so unique. And they're the ones that, are wearing the mismatched socks, which, by the way, is a thing now, and mismatched shoes, like one black shoe, one red shoe. That's a thing now too. And has their hair, done differently. I'm just saying they are just so out of the box. It's just like, whoa, wow. And so they have kind of the shock value. And so there are 4 different kinds of Aquarians. So it's a lot. But the one thing about all Aquarians is they are very, very individualistic and very unique. And they are the one that you will notice is unapologetic about being totally not in synchronicity to whatever it is you believe. So they're like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, cool. You're a fundamental Christian. I love it. Well, I'm an atheist. And then you're like, whoa, I can't be with an atheist. But they're like, I don't care if you're a fundamental Christian. I can be with you. So all Aquarians have this ability to accept you and your differences. I'm going to tell you the number one way that you can figure out if you're with an Aquarian. And again, it is in the eyes. Aquarians, so all of that, saying all of that, boil the potato down to this one thing. Aquarians, Aquarius rising especially, not all Aquarians, most Aquarians, but almost every Aquarius rising has contrasting eyes. And I say this in my Aquarius playlist, but they usually have eyes that you will just fall into, and they usually are contrasted. So if you're dark skin, dark hair, you would have light eyes. If you have light hair, light skin, you'd have dark eyes. It usually, I find, is really light, translucent, see-through eyes. Eyes that are just like Vanessa Williams, okay? Like that, just like, or tiger eyes. I'm just telling you, it's in the aquamarine. Usually, if they have aquamarine eyes that are translucent or see-through, you can literally see back through to their eye socket. 99% of a chance they are Aquarius. And they're usually almond shaped. So they're not like big, droopy, soulful. No, they're just penetratingly contrasted to their other features, to their skin and hair. Okay, let's talk about Pisces. So the first thing I think you're going to notice about Pisces is there is a slowness to their movements. All of them. They are not in a hurry. They are not frenetic. There is a calm and endearing warmth about them. And I will also tell you that their eyes are very soulful, very bulbous. So they're round, like they pop out of their eye sockets a little bit more than mine do. They're bulbous. They pop out more. And they're very big. They're very, very large. And the female Pisces, even males, usually have very long lashes. And so they're quite like Taurus in a way, but they just have such a soulfulness in it. You'll also see a poetic melancholy in their eyes. They do have a tendency to retain water because they are a water sign. They oftentimes have rounded shoulders. Pisces are not usually really chiseled, sculpted. If they are, they had to work at it. But there's usually a roundness and a softness to their curves. They usually like clothes that are fluid or flowing or have movement to them. And oftentimes they have clothes that drape and fall off of them, a shawl, a scarf, off the shoulder, something or other that just is like wispy and falling away. There is a dreamy and far away expression about their clothes. Their clothes oftentimes have a dreamy-like quality to them. I'll tell you that a lot of Pisces actually have a gorgeous voice, a melodic voice, or a deep voice, which is interesting. They have a curviness to them. They give phenomenal hugs. I'll tell you that they're kind of light on their feet. They're not heavy, but they are slow and they walk with a sense of calm, if you will. There's a relaxed quality to the way they dress, the way they act, the way they interact, and the way that they say hello. They usually have a round chin. Oftentimes they can be hurt or get upset, even in a first meeting. I will tell you, when you are talking to a Pisces, oftentimes they will reveal to you a complaint. It's not done in a Pisces way. It's not in a critical way. It's about how something isn't working quite right, how something isn't quite right. They will talk about the things that are not working well in their life or where they're struggling. They often reveal this immediately and quite quickly. Now, I will say not every Pisces are very good listeners. They'll listen to your woe is me tales, but they often will meet you with their own. And I think this is a way to sort of show vulnerability, create connection, show you their humility, show you their humanness. Like I was driving over here and I almost ran out of gas. I didn't think I was going to get here. And I'm so glad I made it. That's very Pisces. It's like, you don't even have to tell me that. But okay, I'm sorry. Did you stop for gas? Did you get your gas? I hope you got your gas. Do you have enough gas to get home? Now I'm worried about you. So there's a focus on what's missing, what's not quite right, what's not there. It's not in a Virgo way. Virgo would be like frickin' 405, backed up traffic, 2 car accidents. What the hell is wrong with this place? There's an introspection with Pisces. There's a friendliness. There's an immediate warmth. They are a little bit shy. They're held back a little bit. They're not forward, but they are massively endearing and extraordinarily forgiving. So when they are complaining, they're not trying to ruin your day. I think they're trying to be relatable, to tell you the truth. I don't know. You Pisces are going to have to tell me. There's something kind of magical and unique about Pisces. It's almost like they're otherworldly. I'll tell you that a lot of their features are like a little on the big side. So their cheekbones can be a little bit too big or just big. Their lips can be really big. Their eyes can be super big. Their dress can be like a costume that's really big. They could wear a hat that might be a little too large, like because they're Jupiter ruled. And so there's a bigness to their features, but they're shy. So it's not Sagittarius. Sagittarius is too big and not shy about it. Like, yeah, I'm here. Pisces is, unless they drink a lot of alcohol, then it's probably like that. I'll tell you that they also have a twinkle about them, kind of like Sag in a way. There's a twinkle, there's a charm, and there is, they kind of ooze in empathy for others. And they're really quite capable of making the other person always feel great. Pisces are usually late, not always, but they're oftentimes late. There is a mysterious quality about them because they are better listeners than talkers. And they also usually have a very creative style. So they put checkered print with camouflage, like prints and fabrics and patterns that you would never even think of. They usually are quite colorful. They're not muted, and they usually have a little bit of a flamboyance. I will tell you that these people sometimes come across as a saint, or like in pure goodness, just pure liquid goodness. And that's not always the case, but it's often the case. There is a carefree quality to Pisces where they just seem like they'll blow with the wind and let the chips fall where they may. And I don't think they always feel that way, but they give that impression. Like, sure, yeah. You're like, hey, do you want to go across the street to such and such? We could go get a whatever. I know we just had a big dinner here. You want to go get a pizza slice? And they're like, sure, why not? It makes no sense at all, but they don't care. They just are whimsically in the fun of it all. And so there's an easygoing fluidity, even though they are a little bit on the quiet, reserved side. After you get them to open up, it's like unleash the Kraken. That's our hockey team that's doing so well. I don't know if you guys know about the Kraken, but that's the Seattle hockey team. But it's like unleash the beast, roar, and this uniqueness comes out. They're also super intuitive. So if they're saying what you're thinking before you actually say it, yeah, they're probably a Pisces. You can tell a Pisces by those big soulful eyes with those long lashes, the reserve in them, and the flamboyant, probably statement piece that they're wearing. Taurus is not going to be so outside of the box as Pisces, but they have those same doe eyes. And look for the person who has a largeness about their features or about their dress or about their energy that they're trying to mute. They're trying to hold it in. But this largeness, this large, unique, creative spirit is just like dying to be unleashed. And so maybe when they drink, that happens like, whoa, I had no idea you were this outrageous. Yeah, they're a Pisces. And it doesn't always have to happen when they drink, but it often does, or do whatever, but I worry about Pisces and substances because they can really be too sensitive for it all. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys liked this video. I absolutely love doing it for you. I cannot recommend enough my starter package if you haven't gotten that, and if you want to learn more about all your placements. I also want to tell you, you should get your unique chart rulers report or your Advanced Astro Gold Package because that report comes in that package. The Unique Chart Rulers Report shows you your whole chart and every single house and its rulers. So you can learn how you are more like each one of these signs because you are made up of all 12 of these signs. And as you know, we don't do sun sign astrology. And I just hope so much that you are learning so much more on why beautiful you are so uniquely you. It is so fun to peel the onion and see all the different layers and learn about yourself, why you were born to be and why you look like you look and why your mannerisms are what they are. I just absolutely adore being with you. And to all my members, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. I couldn't even do this work without you. And if you are a member, you will get exclusive content behind the scenes and learn more deeply with me. Also, if you want to learn astrology, you can go to soulnavigation.com and click on Learn Astrology and go get my deeper classes, if you will, and learn astrology with me. And you will love it. You can download those videos for life. So go shop in my store, have fun. I hope that you're loving learning astrology, and thank you for being here. From my house to yours, wherever you're at in the world, I wish you the very, very best.